welcome to MXM Live. We have here with us Arnab Goswami, Editor-in-Chief and Managing Director of Republic Media Network. Welcome to MXM Live, Arnab.
Thanks, Pradyuman. Good to see you.
So happy days for the Republic Media Network, given your ratings.
Yep, superb days, superb days. We just keep expanding our lead over Aaj Tak. So that's, gives me great satisfaction. And you see, English is hovering around 50% market share overall. And in prime time, around 75, 76%. And Hindi is gone to about 17%, close to 17%, with Aaj Tak around 14%. That's a very decisive lead. If you compare it to like last week, we were 1% ahead of Aaj Tak, 3% ahead. And significantly, what happens in the prime time slots also, you find that if you compare, for example, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, the lead is humongous. I mean, Aaj Tak is nowhere. It's a 7 to 8 p.m. slot. I was watching Aaj Tak is 12%. We are like 28%. And 6 o'clock slots, we are like over 20, 21%. Sucharita is doing a great job. So all the critical slots, the lead is in some places over 50%, somewhere over 100%. So this is not just dominance. It's very solid dominance in the Hindi genre.
While it is on the back of content that you have, which is currently it is your Sushant Singh Rajput coverage, and before that you had other stuff. But is there a worry that when there could be content dark areas where the content is not as engaging as what you have right now? Yeah. And are you relying too much on the top breaking news of the day, which as it has happened has been there consistently over a period of time?
Well, I mean, see, Pradyuman, my commitment is to the news. So there's never going to be a content dark period. Secondly, we do the news. We are journalists. We do the news. We have a focus on viewership, but that's not our only focus. So when we do the news, we go with our gut instinct, and you are seeing there's organic growth. Now, as far as campaigns like Sushant are concerned, if you were to tell me, Pradyuman, that would you do this coverage even if it did not get you ratings? Absolutely would. If it destroyed your ratings, I would still do it. And therefore, we are not doing this from a point of view of ratings. We believe that it is time for journalism to be the voice of the people, and we were the voice of the people on this. But not only on this. If you look back, when the Palghar incident happened, when the sadhus were killed, we did a sustained campaign on it. A campaign so strong that the Congress party attacked me physically. And, they filed false cases on me. I spent 20 hours in a police station. So when we did these stories also, Palghar, we were going with our gut instinct. This is right and wrong. Journalism is nothing but a gut feel reaction to what is right and wrong. And similarly, sometimes you take positions which are seen to be unpopular among certain people. For example, we took a very strong position against the Shaheen Bagh episode, right from around the 7th of December, 2019, right till pre-COVID, till up to March, when they were trying to stretch this Shaheen Bagh agitation. We took a strong line against it. We took a strong line against Sarjil Imam. So this is sustained because we are essentially on the news. And is there going to be a content dark period? Never, because in this country, there is so much to cover. And our channel is the only Hindi channel, which is dedicated to 100% news. So I'm confident that what is happening today is that the people of this country, the viewers, are making a choice. And they're making a good choice. But I'm in this for the long run. I am in this, Republic in this, the network is in this for the long run. I am not in this to win a week or lose a week. I believe that eventually if you win the hearts of the people of this country, it doesn't matter whether you're number one or number two, but it's important to win the hearts of the people of India in a straightforward way. And the only way that I know is 100% news. That is the only differentiator that we have brought to the Hindi news genre, nothing else.
No, but there is a charge, and I would be wrong to say that, there are times when I do feel that your news does have a definite, your news is laced with your view. Okay, so it's news from your prism. As in you feel that Shaheen Bagh is incorrect, yeah. Whether it's right or wrong, but you have maintained that point of view. In the case of, whatever else you've done, you've always taken a very strong view. As against the classical, of course, I do agree that journalism cannot be defined. Journalism is what is cannot be. We cannot dictate a line. It's not necessary for you to be neutral. But the fact of the matter is that you have not been neutral on some of these issues.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not neutral. I'm absolutely not neutral. I detest the concept of neutrality in journalism, because neutrality is nothing but a camouflage. Neutrality is a veneer. Neutrality is a show that people put on. Neutrality does not exist. So why should we pretend to be neutral? I am not neutral. I will never be neutral. Yes. Is it laced with my opinion? No. It is more than laced with my opinion. It is laced and garnished and served with my opinion. But you have the right to have your opinion. Opinion is here to stay. Opinion is not a crime. Now let me tell you, the people who accuse me of being stilted, opinionated, etc., fine. I believe that Shaheen Bagh was wrong. I believe that Shaheen Bagh was wrong. I believe that Deepika Padukone going before a movie release to get a picture taken at JNU is ethically incorrect. Ethically incorrect. Right? So I am completely against it, and I will run my campaign against it. It is my freedom in this country to run a campaign against Shaheen Bagh, regardless of the consequences. Just as it is a freedom of mine to run a campaign of justice for the sadhus. Just as it is a freedom of mine also, tomorrow people can say that why are you the only channel which is carrying out a campaign for the PMC bank victims? There are 9 lakh victims. Now, is it secular to be quiet on that because you've got an NCP government? And because the NCP government is supposed to also have greater say over cooperative banks, you will not speak on it because you don't want to upset them? Is it secular to remain quiet on the circumstances of Sushant's death? So it's not as if the people who accuse me of having an opinion don't have one. They have one, but they don't have the guts to say that they have an opinion. I openly say that I have an opinion on what I believe is right. So it's not an opinion. It is not a bias. It is not a prejudice. It is my network's belief in what is right. And if you don't agree with our network, you can still watch us. We are not telling people who don't agree with us to not watch us. We are not telling people who don't agree with us to stop coming on the channel. Right? And we have an opinion. See, there's a right and wrong in every issue, whether PMC bank victims, whether the NEET students case, whether in Shaheen Bagh, or whether in Sarjil Imam, or even whether, for that matter, in the case of Sushant. We are going by what we believe is right. Somebody else can go with what they think is wrong. That's their choice.
Are you still in Mumbai or are you in Delhi?
I'm in Mumbai. I never leave Mumbai.
No worries about the Mumbai police coming at your doorstep once again.
What will they do? You see, the last time that they did these interrogations, it was a farce. By the end of the interrogation is supposed to be about Palghar. And the investigating officer is asking the group CFO of my network, what is your source of revenue? What is your turnover? What is your top line? What is your bottom line? What are they asking these questions for?
More important, they ask questions about where the funds coming from.
Yes, they were asking questions, where do the funds coming from? So I was sitting in a police thana trying to explain the streams of revenue and the distribution of revenue to a police inspector who's supposed to question me on Palghar. So I think they should have got tired of me. But regardless of that, the fact is that I went to courts and I won. I went to the courts and I won. I went to the Supreme Court. They sent me to the High Court. I fought in the High Court and I won. Now for 2 days back, they've decided to go against the Supreme Court against me again. I will go there and I will win again. So I am using all justifiable tools available to me to battle this. And in my mind, if you're asking me, am I afraid of being in Mumbai? I'm very happy.
The reason I'm saying this is because you know how governments are, how governments can be. And in the Sushant Singh Rajput case, you have taken on the Mumbai police. You have taken the ruling disposition in a very, very aggressive way.
Yeah. Why should I be scared? I don't take loans at premiums, discounts from banks. I have nothing to hide. My treasuries are clean. We pay tax on every rupee that we get, right? My income is clean. I don't own houses in South Africa. I'm very straightforward about how I lead my life. So I have nothing to hide. So you're welcome. It is only people who live in these glass houses who have to be very worried about what's going to happen to them. I have nothing to hide. Pradyuman, I lived the same life I led 10 years back. It doesn't matter to me whether I was an employee or I'm a shareholder. It doesn't matter to me. My life is the same. Nothing's changed. So I have nothing to hide. Maharashtra government, any government can come and try to do anything. We live by the will of the people. Eventually, we are the first content-led news organization in India, content-led, where the person leading the organization has stood with a camera for 12 hours to get a bite of a politician. I started from there. So I nothing changes for me. Why should I be scared about Uddhav Thackeray?
Okay, this interview is more about the business part of the deal, about the business part of the business, and we can really go on about content. But since we're talking about content, just one or two questions more about content, and then we can.
Problem is you see, you are the guy who's a content guy. You want to do a business interview, but essentially you're a content guy, and so am I. So we're trying very hard to talk business. But at the end of the day, you know what we are in this for. Why are you running a? Let me ask you, Pradyuman. Are you running your organization for any margins that you will make? Will you give up on your organization if you make? Tomorrow, have you not fought big media houses? Have they not intimidated you? Have you not had court cases against them? Have you given up? The fact is, people like you and me, we're not going to curl up and die. You know,
for instance, there have been charges against me too that I have perhaps been a little over aggressive or pro somebody or whatever. There were some charges that I was pro Republic also at one point of time. So similarly, there's a charge that
to hear that at least somebody is pro Republic.
pro journalism, and pro. Since we had you as our media person of the year, but I agree with I totally agree. I may not agree with your editorial stance, as I was telling Vikas yesterday, but I admire the entrepreneurial zeal and the business progress that you have done. But there is a charge that you are while you do take on certain major leaders of the BJP disposition, but the fact of the matter is that, or what people say is that you are fairly pro BJP. So I'm saying, is that something which you are doing as a business?
I don't care. Honestly, I don't care. The commentary around me is a reflection of the viewership of the channel. That's all it is. Now, the day they stop watching the channel, they won't do commentary. So that's one. Second is, should I be conscious? Should I be worried about falling in or out of line with anyone who agrees or disapproves of what I'm saying? Then I will constantly be watching my back. That's why I'm not on social media. It doesn't matter to me. And let me tell you one thing. There are enough people who disagree with me who are supporters of our channel. People who watch us, people who advertise on our channel, not always agree with me, but they watch our channel. If the worst crime that you can commit in life is to have an opinion, then you've led a very good life. So that's my worst crime. It's all right. It's all right. I don't think it's a big deal. As far as being pro-BJP, anti-Congress, etc. is concerned, I will be pro and anti whoever I want at whichever point of time based upon the issue. I don't want to watch my back. I don't want to think about it. If my nationalist views are curiously seen by some people as pro-BJP, they are making a big mistake. This country is a nationalist. Most people in this country are nationalists. No party owns it. So it's all right.
There's clearly no
try to typecast you, say things about you. Frankly, it doesn't matter. We have to carry on and march on regardless.
So while patriotism is fine, but there are times when one feels that the government has been doing a fair amount of wrong. The economy is in doldrums. While I know that you have raised issues about economy, but the scene is pretty grim, and you are not taking on those issues as much as the other.
Completely wrong. See, we have to be very specific about it. You raised questions about why the government reacted late to the NBFC crisis. You raised questions about why the government bought the shares of Yes Bank but did not give a collateral for PMC Bank, right? You do raise specific questions. But the questions cannot be based upon our like or dislike of individuals and personalities. It can't be based upon, oh, you don't like Mr. Modi. So, therefore you want a narrative. That's a very shallow way of looking at it. The questions and arguments should always be based upon the specific facts here. Like we're keeping a watch, right? What's the CBI doing? If CBI doesn't do its job, we'll question them as well. It cannot be based upon our like or dislike of individuals. it has to be based upon the issue that you're dealing with at hand. And that's what matters to me. Now, therefore, my view on certain matters, whether it is the way which I think Mr. Modi dealt with China very well. I think he dealt with them very well this time, and the very way he dealt with them during Doklam, I think it was exceptional. I think it's also very tragic that the Congress party has gone and done deals with the Chinese Communist Party, because a political party in power cannot accept money from a foreign source. Now, these are
conflicting news about whether, what was, how much did the Chinese come into the country. The Prime Minister made a statement. You did not take that very strongly.
We took it very strongly. We took it exceptionally strongly, much more strongly than other people who were tweeting a different position when the Congress was in power and tweeting a different position now. See, I am very clear about it, Pradyuman. I think this government is extremely good from the point of view of national security. I'm now clear about it. You can call me a bhakt, it doesn't matter. But the fact is, this government for internal security and national security is stronger and more strident. Whether it is towards urban Naxals, Maoists, and whether it is on the border in the Northeast and the way they've dealt with the situation of groups which are operating from areas surrounding the Northeast, or whether it is with China or Pakistan. Now, that's my firm view. And it's my firm view which has lasted for a very long time. And I've been very consistent in my views on these matters. I have always been what you would call me, or others would call me, a right-winger. I said, I'm not a right-winger, I'm an India-winger. I wrote a book in 2001 when the Prevention of Terrorism Act had not even been passed. I was in Cambridge for 6 months. My book on laws against terrorism will be seen by many people as the most right-wing assertion of the need for stronger laws against terrorists. At a time when these laws were being debated in Western democracies, I was writing a book on it. I was not opinionated then. I was not running Times Now or Republic then. These are my views. These are my views based upon my academic research and my complete compilation of Hansard debates in the United Kingdom. I do not base any of my opinion on empty rhetoric or Twitter feeds. I am, in fact, the only journalist out here who has done serious academic work. I'm the only journalist among them who has done serious academic work in the world's most reputed universities of Oxford and Cambridge. So I have never based my views upon a 120-second tweet. That's why I don't tweet. But I have written book, I have written research papers on it, and I have established my academic credentials, and I research myself extremely strongly and well. So would you then say that, oh, since you wrote your book, you were a right-winger? No. Sitaram Yechury came for the launch of my book. Jaypal Reddy was at the launch of my book, along with Arun Jaitley. So it's not as if I need to explain myself on these issues, but I have maintained intellectual consistency on these issues since I was in my early 20s.
So this is not because now you are running a channel, now because it is a business for you that you are maintaining this stance, because this gives you all the eyeballs.
No, eyeballs. Was I seeking any eyeballs when I wrote my book? This is my view. This is my view of this country. Was I seeking to please a political party? When I took a view in 2009 on issues, and 2008 when 26/11 happened? When 26/11 happened, where was the BJP? So, we as individuals, as professionals, as thinking people, we need to rise above, I would say, the divide of looking upon every issue on pro or anti-political party or individual lines. And the more we do that, the more politicians will respect us for our own position. Now, if it happenstance that some positions appear to be similar to those of political parties, it's fine. We need to stop being self-conscious about it. It's fine. You have your position. It's fine.
How much of the content is that you have is influenced by the fact that this will perhaps generate great ratings, or if you do a show on Pakistan or China, given the current flavor and the nationalistic fervor that is there in the country, how much do you think of that?
Nationalism was there in this country even when Nehru forced Subhash Chandra Bose to leave the country. Nationalism was there in this country, which is why I believe that Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's position as the leader of the Congress and as a prospect in an independent India made people extremely insecure. So nationalism is not the flavor of the season. This is the way some of us may want to look at it, but I disagree with it. Nationalism is at the core of every great story. And in fact, whether even communists, if you do a detailed reading of Lenin, you will find that even he was the strongest believer in nationalism. So nationalism is at the core of every vibrant democracy, every change that comes in our society. Now, whether it is in South America or in India. So it's not a flavor of the season. In answer to your therefore specific question, okay, so what goes in my mind? The only thing which goes in my mind is at this point of time, if Pradyuman Maheshwari or any XYZ tunes on to any of my channels, is that person getting the news? Now here we have a handicap of TV channels. I don't know when you're going to watch the news. I don't know whether you'll watch it before lunch or after lunch. I know possibly there's a greater chance of you watching me on an appointment viewing slot at 9 o'clock, but there's also a possibility that you're a snack and viewer. So all I want to do is make sure that you're watching. When you're tuning on, there's a great chance that you will find my content compelling. And hence, there is a greater leaning towards the breaking news story. That's all. So that, therefore, we spend a more disproportionate amount of time sometimes on one story. That's all.
Which exists across channels. So, but do you think this whole thing of ratings, as you know, it is very easy for people to say that, "Arey, ye log kar rahe hain because TRP ke wajah se." Is that a factor that is at play in terms of you know, that something doesn't really get generate the ratings as something else would?
Let's not be hypocrites. Ratings matter. People tom about ratings. Everyone does. Everyone wants to be number one. But there comes a time in your professional journey, Pradyuman, when you look at the larger impact that your journalism will have. It is absolutely true. So what does make you extremely ecstatic is not the thing of the week. It is the public support of the week. So if you ask me what was my moment when I felt that, so see, I feel very blessed, Pradyuman. Let's be clear. I was a reporter. I was in Delhi. I happened to come to this point. I feel very blessed. And I think now that how can I use this large instrument which we have built together for some impact? So if you tell me, Arnab, will you sacrifice 5 rating points in exchange for some good? I will. I spent 1 hour on the debate on the PMC bank victims that day. The blessings that I got before and after mattered more to me than the ratings. I don't know if I'm answering your question. Ratings matter. I'm a realist about it. I study them. I try to be the best. I didn't want to be in this rat race, Pradyuman. But I had given an interview. I think you were the editor of Impact then. I don't know when, 2008, what was sometime that time, maybe before you were there. I gave an interview. You can see that I didn't want to be in the rat race. But if I am in the rat race, I want to be the fastest rat. Yes, it was a metaphorical way, satirical way of stating the obvious. But it's not the only reason. For me, impact, justice for SSR is something I believe in. PMC bank victims I believe in. And I ask myself always before any story that I commit myself to, do I believe in it? Do I genuinely believe in it? And sometimes you have to believe in it to a point where you have to dissociate your personal ego from the story. I did not believe in the people who ran the campaign of India against corruption. I did not believe in Prashant Bhushan then or now. I did not believe in Yogendra Yadav then or now. I'm naming people. I did not believe even in Arvind Kejriwal then or now. But I believe that whoever these paratroopers are, who have come into Delhi and claim to now front a fight against corruption that we fought. Did I suspect they were using it for political motives? At some part of my mind, yes, but I wanted to believe they did not. But despite my disagreement with the individuals, I backed the issue of the fight against corruption. So, you know, we therefore have to divorce ourselves from the larger impact that we can have in the society around us. Now, this discussion is completely out of any business part. You and I have successfully destroyed any...
No, I'm going to get back to business.
This interview, which is...
Get back to business. So tell me something, what, you know, Sushant Singh Rajput, the entire, you know, madness about Sushant Singh Rajput will continue perhaps for a week or two. How do you ensure, and since this is about Republic Bharat as against Republic, the English channel, is there a game plan to ensure that you sustain it? Because we are in a sense fortunate to have a situation like this, which is good for you. 3 weeks back, before the Sushant Singh Rajput thing happened, you were not the number one. Now, how do you ensure that you continue to be the numero uno?
See, for me, I'm very emotionally vested in the fight for justice for Sushant. I'm very emotionally vested in it. I am always emotionally vested in the stories that I pick up. So for me, it's a campaign. Regardless, I didn't even know that it's a ratings issue today. For me, I'm very vested in the story. I'm living and breathing the story as a reporter, and I believe that we have not yet told the complete truth. So I would want to sustain the campaign till there is complete justice, and I don't want to leave things halfway. So I am not thinking of what will happen before or after. We will always cover the news. Right now, I think that this deserves a disproportionate amount of time on our entire network.
Tell me something on a very lighter note. I know you are very serious about it. Why do you shout so much on television?
No, I'm not shouting.
Of course you are. You look at the decibel value, is like, goes up.
No, of late it has gone down. When I don't shout so much, then I get messages that are you not right? Is something wrong with you? Is your health okay? So I tempered it down. I've tempered it down, but it's only been 2-3 years since we launched the channel. I'm still in my 40s. And so I think, maybe, 10 years from now or so, it will mellow down a bit. But the thing is that I get involved. I mean, I've been a debater. The one thing I never did was declamation. I used to love debate, because declamation, you are declaiming what someone else is saying. Debate, you are debating. So you are in the zone. So in a debate, you raise your voice. So it happens. It's not pre-planned. It's nothing. But it happens. And then if you notice the stories that we pick up, we are only putting out stories that we are personally vested in. The ones we are spending that kind of time. Reduced it a bit over the years. It's all right. If your biggest crimes is that you shout and you have an opinion, it's all right.
But, obviously I do know that this is what people feel, and you are very passionate about your business, and passionate about the news. But you guys have been working round the clock virtually since the lockdown lockdown happened. So how do you manage that in your personal life? Are you taking care of your health? Because not only are you working non-stop, you are exceedingly passionate. You're shouting out. You're doing this, that, and the other. All health elements in order.
All health elements in order. I do yoga on and off. Then, you listen to music.
You are doing yoga. You are meditating virtually.
Not meditating. I can't meditate unless I meditate only in edit meetings. But I do yoga, which helps me keep my mind and body supple. And I lead a disciplined life. And discipline matters. Otherwise, I lead a disciplined life. So, of late, I've spent more time on editorial stories and coverage, which gives me great satisfaction. My business team is building the business on the side, so I don't have to think much about that on a day-to-day basis. We strengthened our management. I feel happy because I feel very happy because before I launched the Hindi channel, everybody said I would fail. Everybody said this is our Waterloo. Hubris. They said, Hindi market, hubris. It was not hubris. We actually sat and thought, what can you be a differentiator? You remember, Pradyuman, I said the only differentiator will do 100%. So I was talking to someone today. I said, it is Mr. Arun Puri who should introspect now. Mr. Puri should introspect. I don't want to give him advice, but I was telling someone today that who destroyed news on Hindi? Why did Mr. Arun Puri allow Aaj Tak to dedicate slots to scurrilous stuff like what is the dance that this TV serial will do, breaking news every day? Every day? Why only Mr. Arun Puri? All Hindi news channels should really think that why did they destroy news and why did they not live up to the expectation of the audiences? See, tell me, Pradyuman, why do we take the Hindi news channel audiences who don't want news?
But there was a phase that existed when they were all doing it. I think
No.
moved out of it.
No. You serve this and then you want to say a phase existed. Did the people of India come together and tell all these Hindi news channel guys, कि आप viral video दिखाओ? Did all of them come together and say, I was shocked. I'm not naming a channel, but I was shocked, Pradyuman. One channel, Hindi news channel, did a whole program on moments when people died on TV. The moment of death. You know what I mean? So there was, and these channels want to teach me journalism. These channels have the temerity to question me, my journalism. These channels showed a moment when a newly married couple, okay, is dancing on a stage. The groom has a heart attack and dies on the day of his wedding. They pick up a picture like that from YouTube, they freeze frame it and they go close. They also showed in the same show video of a dancer somewhere in Haryana who is dancing on stage, and while dancing she collapses and dies, and then they slow-mo the moment of her death. Tell me, Pradyuman, after all these years, do any of these people have a right to lecture me about the values of journalism? So when I entered the Hindi news genre and we launched our channel on 2nd of February 2019, I made everybody in my editorial team take a vow that regardless of what happens, we will not do the things that other channels do. Whether we win or we lose does not matter. And there are a lot of people who told me then that business-wise it's not good. I said it does not matter. You do the right thing, and whether you win or lose, you will at least have made a dent in the market, and that's enough for us. So it's a slightly longer answer to your question, but the Hindi news channels must sit together and ask themselves whether they have done things which I would call are morally wrong. Technically, they may not be wrong. Nobody may be able to cancel their license for it. But morally, it is wrong.
And, thankfully we are doing Zoom, so you can't throw me out of the room. But you think what you're doing is not morally incorrect in terms of the fact that you're taking a very strong view, a very belligerent view on something that you believe is right and perhaps may be incorrect.
I believe that my views are based upon two things. My service to my country, my belief in that what I'm doing today will be in national interest, and my complete commitment that I will never do anything which is against national interest. Now, in the process of serving my, what I believe is my service and my commitment to the nation, if I take positions which go against others and which are unpalatable to others, it is an unfortunate reality that I will have to continue on my path and they will have to continue on theirs.
Okay, so what next after, you achieved a fair amount of stuff for Republic Bharat. Is there, you had announced at your conclave some months back that you will get into regional stuff. Of course, COVID has had an impact on this, but is that on course? Are you looking at doing regional stuff on the digital front?
Yeah, we'll do it. In the next 6 months, we'll do it. I'd in fact got everything ready. We had set up everything. We had got the space and we were about to launch, but then you can't even construct a new office now. So I'm on course for that. Our digital traffic has been fairly good. We've gone up to about 50 million uniques, close to 50 million uniques in the last month, and averaging about 2 million uniques a day. that is purely English. We've not launched Republic Bharat on digital yet, so that's the next big thing. And then 100% we will go into languages. We looked at broadcast, looking at digital. We'll look at what medium we feel comfortable in, broadcast or digital, but we are looking at solid expansion there in the next 6 months. So
how are you viewing
this financial year, I'll start my expansion.
How are you viewing your the revenues and the overall the market has been looking down.
Yeah.
It has looked up for news, but still the monies are not as much.
Yeah.
How does that impact? Does that impact journalism?
We are better than the others because as the markets dipped, our market share has gone up. So we are better than the others. We're even. We're doing well.
And does it impact your journalism, the less revenues?
No. It doesn't really. It doesn't really. I'm a realist that, you see, the thing is, as long as you can make your ends meet, it's fine. The value of my brand is far more close to my heart than the value of my top line or bottom line. The second part will follow. But for me, the value of the brand, belief of people in the brand, is eventually what will sustain.
I think on that point, I must, agree that you really wear your brand on your sleeves. You speak for your brand, and often you shout about your brand. What was this? I have this proud to be loud.
You got that. Yeah. We gave this at a summit, I think.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you for keeping it. Wonderful. Proud to be loud. Yeah.
Proud to be loud. So is that something that you really believe in?
Totally, Pradyuman. Totally. See, we have a short career, all of us, right? Short career. And I am lucky, I'm blessed that at a relatively younger age, I can't say I'm very young now, but at a relatively younger age, right? I could launch a network, right? At a relatively younger age, I could expand into Hindi. So I believe that I have a significant part of my career ahead of me. So lot of things ahead, primarily digital and OTT and languages. And when we finish that, we should, or when I achieve some traction in that, then I am 100% going to work towards serving global audiences and serving news for global audiences on video and text across the world from India. That is the project, with my dream project, which I will do within the next couple of years at the most.
Great. All the very best for that. But of course, we will keep talking. I'll come to you once again. I hope you will speak with me.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, brother. Thank you.